woke up this morning, the sky was gray. Another storm, another endless day.
So the workshop is with Sudowrite for dialogue. And it's with me, Manon Doucet. And we already said all that, so I'm going to just flip through the screen with all the rules of the game. The class is for who. You will learn how to do all that for your dialogue, the overview, bring imagination, and you log in. So we'll leave with a lot of information for you to play and do dialogue in your story. Pretty much you'll be able to work with dialogue in the genre and also by age group. And the housekeeping, camera off, mute to reduce feedback, sounds, and the sound can disturb the teacher flow. Raise your hands and question in the chat. Feedback email at the hour. Before you go, if you need to leave right after the hour, no worry. Thank you for joining us today. We are recording. We will appreciate it if you could take a moment to leave us a 5-star review and let us know, what did you enjoy most about today's class? What topic or skill would you love to learn in a future class? Your feedback helps us to grow and create even better learning experience just for you. Let's go. Dialogue. Are you ready? Sudowrite. Quick start. A beginning-friendly workshop to supercharge your character conversation. Romance, children, war, they all have different way of chatting as a dialogue. So how do we manage that with a chat? With AI in Sudowrite, you got to let the AI to know how we want those class to go, those text. So you will learn today the key to great dialogue, how to use Sudowrite tools, and practice writing, refining conversation. Why dialogue matter? It's engaging the reader instantly. Reveal character, personality, and emotion. Move the plot forward. Build relationship and tension. And quite a few more things too. So element of a strong dialogue, the sound natural but purposeful, reflect the character voice or yours at the same time, depending which voice you're looking for. Contain subtext, what not to say. Short, punchy, realistic flow. Avoid info dumping. So when it's too long, there's no dialogue, most readers get very bored. Flat versus dynamic dialogue. Example, dynamic. You never call. Didn't think you answer. And if it's flat, says, hi, John. How are you? I'm fine. You see the difference between dynamic and flat? So this is an example of dialogue and how to manipulate the AI to give you from this to this. So media Sudowrite dialogue tools. We're going to use describe. I'm going to be able to show you all those little laser tools, but I will show you quite a bit at that point to go and work with all that. So we're going to do describe, clarify tone, personality, or situation. Dialogue, auto-generate conversation based on setup. Brainstorm, explore emotion, stake, or voice. Rewrite, which is very nice to work these days with. Improve your flow, pacing, and tone, and the character voice, which is very, very important when you do a novel. Match style to POV or the mood. So, live demo step by step. Let's see what I got after that. Writing exercise. All right, so we're going to get right into the exercise right now. Let's see if I can get out of this. We're going to change my sharing and we're going to jump into, I'm going to move this screen over here. Sorry, I got to move screen around. I'm going to get my Canva back and move it onto the other screen. I got to love those screens to move around. All right, So this is my doc that I'm going to share with you. You will find pretty much everything we're going to work on today. There we go. So this is our doc, and then we're going to start with the first one here. AI tool for authentic dialogue. The first doc that you have, I'm going to bring this up a bit, that you have here is a lot of information about how that works and who works with ChatGPT. You see the right screen, what I see here in the window. Is that what show up when I put my information in? That's interesting. Okay, let's keep on going. I get sidetracked sometime. So this here, what I did is I did go and ask for a deep search on who's using Sudowrite and ChatGPT to write. And this is extremely interesting to see a lot of those very powerful authors out there that use ChatGPT and Sudowrite for writing. This is a very long research, so you can read it on your own time. That's a bonus for you to read. I was in my car listening to it, and I was like, whoa, really? That author? The fact that all those authors are using ChatGPT and they're using it for, most of them is for 4 to 5 years already, that they use those tools for their books that they are publishing. So it is very interesting, everything that you will find in here on how they use ChatGPT and Sudowrite. It's a lot of information. So like I said, on your own time, you can go and read that. And you'll find it very captivating. Let me know in the feedback or on the Discord how you feel about that research. It's very interesting to go at. So I'm going to close this one, and then we'll go to crafting dialogue. So the second one that I gave you is basically the exercise that we're going to do. I'm giving you small idea of story to work with. So basically like middle grade, the fantasy, the title, the density of the dialogue, the purpose, the example, and a lot of tips on how to go about it. So these are basically the story we're going to work with. And I'm giving you all kind of things to remember. In that class, I said I'm going to give you a doc that you can practice by yourself. You have the prompt that you can ask to change things on your story. So you'll be able to work with these things. But we don't want to do all that here with me right now, but this is what it is right there. So you have that. The second document is going through the action right away. All right, so this is the children version of what we're going to do. So let's go on that. The note, and that will be right over here. So I'm going to share with you the main note, which is all this over here. This, put that in the chat box. And here we go. So those are the notes. So everything I told you earlier, they also over here. So they have it in 2 places. Engaging dialogue and the notes. Okay. So the first test we're going to do, I did go by age group. So I use children for testing, middle school for testing, young adult, and adult. And I asked for some idea of story. I could have gone by genre, but I went by group age. So this way we had to go and start somewhere. So from this point on, is there any question that I can answer before I jump into the fire of this? Everything is good? Nothing? Okay, let's keep on going. So, here's my first story for children. So I give you the title, Sir Bubble and the Dragon Dances. The genre is comedy and adventure, so you know right away that the dialogue has to be for children and not a whole lot of things going on around it. So children information and things like that. It's light-hearted, playful, filled with puns. So we have three characters, Sir Bubble, a brave but clumsy knight who bathed in his armor. Sparkletooth, a dragon with a toothache and an attitude. And Dr. Flossmore, the kingdom magical dances. And here's giving us example on how they speak. So Sir Bubbles, overconfidence, old-fashioned knight, speak, hark, I shall smite the black. Or smite? Smite. Don't forget I'm bilingual, so I know two languages, and sometimes I can make mistake on how to say things, but you get what I'm saying here. These Sparkletooth, sarcastic and grumbly, but with a heart of gold. And Dr. Flossmore, precise, scientific, slightly eccentric. So we have three different ways of chatting here. This one is chatting away, and this guy is going to be grumpy, and this one more medical with eccentricity. Three different type of dialogue. So I give you a small synopsis. So when the dragon stopped flying due to cavity pain, the kingdom panics. Sir Bubble volunteered to tame the dragon, not with a sword, but with a toothbrush. A hilarious quest unfold with Bubble, mishap, and dental spells. And there, on the second part here, I give you some dialogue prompt to work with. I'm not going to jump in the prompt now. I'm going to show you exactly what that story is going to look like. So, for the one who's brand new, you come with a story inside Sudowrite and you can work it out, no problem. And I will show you a bit how that works also. Here, we have our story Bible. That story Bible is a very good start. We have two places that is very important to go and check a few things. I wish I don't have that big one in the middle of my screen. Okay, just give me a second here. I'm having a bit of technical difficulty with my screen. Don't know, maybe I have to, let's see if I can close this, share. All right, okay, so I get access to all my screen. Just need to move a few things. Bear with me. I'm sorry about that. There we go. Ah, come on. Okay. We lose kind of everything here and there. I'm gonna close all these things. They come back anyway. Okay. So this is our normal screen. All right. So we have our laser tool on top, and then we have our story Bible. Normally what I say to everyone in all my class, first, when you know your genre of what you're going to write, you go into your write button here and you go into your down arrow and you go in your writing setting to tell the AI that if you click on any of those buttons around here, which one you want to use. Lately, I really love excellent. It's giving me a lot of good information, a lot of good dialogue and very good story. So I leave it at excellent. Here in the key details, these key details is basically to tell what you're writing about. So in this case here, because it's not the right one here, it's the other one I'm going to open, there's nothing written. So once you get in there, this is what you're going to see. There's nothing in brain dump, nothing in genre, nothing in style, synopsis, character, world building. During it's empty, I'm going to show you first, that's what I said. The right setting is one of the things you have to go and see what you're going to write about and choose your model. Second, character. Or if it's something else, because today we're working on dialogue, I'm just going to stay focused on dialogue. So if you go in character and you want to focus on your dialogue, you're going to go in your character and you're going to go and customize. Before you do anything else, try to know that what you want for your story. So go in your character and you're going to click on customize. And here you can see my customize is telling me, my first thing it says is the character, the protagonist, antagonist, main character. So I like Sudowrite to let me know that. I want to know if I have a nickname. What's the role in the story? Is physical description, is genre, gender, sorry. Is the zodiac sign for some of the stories great. For some of those, it's not. If you don't like it, you just click. You can click the X. It doesn't have any problem with that. I like to know how they react in public, between friends, and in privacy. You want to know the archetype, if they are human, fairy, dragon, animals, and things like that. But for this class today, this is what I add to it. I want to know how they speak. I want example of dialogue in public, example of dialogue between friends, example dialogue between private, with lover, and if they speak another dialogue, another language. So if the one of you which are brand new, you don't know how to do that, I'm going to just copy just one here. Oh. At the bottom, you go and click add. And when you click add, there's a little box showing up. And then you can pass what you're looking for in that box. Okay, I didn't copy. So let's see, I want example of dialogue as a baby, as an example. And I click add to current character and save. So now, if I go inside my character and I go and ask for a series of characters to show up, these will show up. They are now permanently here. And it's going to go across my project. So far, so good. All right. Now, let's see if we can get our first story to work with what I just tell you, because already that's 621. So the first story, I believe I start with stillness of this one. So this one is the adult one, if I'm not wrong. Genre, contemporary literature, fictional characters, study, romance, art and creativity, So the style is sensual, interesting, character-driven, heavy dialogue-driven, and all that. So this is the adult version of it. So I could probably go and get the children so we stay in the same. So the first one I was having is the pen pal, and we're talking about the dentist. All right, let's get the dentist. That's the one we're talking about. So what I did is I took a small story. I start that story already. Start the start, a middle, enter the floss. So scene 2, we have a short story right there. So if you during the week, we're going to talk about short story for children. This is an example of that. So with my short story, what I did is I went inside Sudowrite. I went into a document. I put my short story in the document and I did import. Let's see if I can show you how that happened again. Just fast. No, thank you. Going back. If you have a small story that you want to work inside Sudowrite, I took my little story, which I wrote in the document, and I did import. I dropped my document in here, and I got my little story inside a document like this. And then my whole story is already inside Sudowrite under a small project. That's how I got that story in. This is one of my favorite way to go. I always have my story normally in my mind or half written that I bring inside of it. The fact that I love this workflow is because everything about my story is already inside Sudowrite. And when I do that, my story Bible is getting filled up. So the brain dump is always empty, and I like to use my brain dump to put my little prompt or my little notes. It doesn't make much difference to the whole workflow, but it gets just my notes in there. So we know we have a children literature, fantasy, fairy tale, humor, erotic, heroic adventure, dental hygiene, teamwork, and friendship. You can cut any of these if it's too long. We like humor, erotic adventure, dental hygiene, teamwork, friendship. We can leave it like that, or we can remove one of those. It's depending on how you want to do it. The style. So the style right now, you can choose a style over here, but just because we're working on on dialogue, I'm going to just say the style right now, I like heavy dialogue. And that's 4. This is my starting point. This style, I will also go into my right button over here, one of our laser tool. Going to go in my writing setting. This is my creativity level. I'm happy with that. Excellent. And here I'm going to let him know. I want heavy dialogue driven story for children. That's my starting point. Now, because I brought everything in, I didn't want to have to do everything and wait and having nothing to say in between. I generate everything before the class. So we have a whimsical kingdom, pearly white, a particular problem has arisen that threaten the disruption of the nature of the order of things. So the story is about the dragon stop flying. Nothing is going on because they have a toothache. And then the royal are like, what are we going to do? So this is the starting point of that story. This is the right story, right? Yeah. So you remember what I said about my character, that I did the customization at the start? My dialogue out here. So this one, I believe is it done? Yeah, it's done. Okay. So when I did that, for your information, I add that after the importation. And I will show you how you can change that too. So here we have our protagonist, which is our Sir Bubble the Old. And I know is the royal, or is it that's a human? And that's okay. So is the information is not there? Okay. All right, let's go see. It's here. So I wanted to add to all the character. Is going to do an update. So everything which is not imported, you just go and say add to current character, and it's going to go and do the correction and save as this. And I'll go back down and it should be showing up. All right, so example of dialogue in public. Now it's empty, but I want to know how is that person's going to be talking. You can just go here and say fill in. Or if you know your character, you can say fill in, but in the fill in, you can say that person is very strict or to the point or abrupt, whatever you want to say about the way this person is doing the dialogue in that story. So right here, you can change the way it's supposed to be. So let's see how is that person is talking. You can just go, so Grace, by the grace of Queen Mularia, I shall cleanse these fangs with valor and diligence. Sir Bubble declared, his voice echoing through the marketplace. So between friends, ha, Sparkletooth, my gleaming friend, shall we embark on another aerial tour of the kingdom? I assure you my armor is sufficiently polished for the occasion, because he bait with his armor. And that's one part of the joke inside that story. So because it's based on the story that I brought in, it's giving me the proper way of the dialogue to go. In private, with lover, that's a kid story, so let's see, we're not putting there, but it might be funny if you want to laugh at some point. If you speak in a dialogue with a different language, and sometimes this one is surprising me, because one of my characters didn't see was talking another language, and at some point says, oh, he also talked Greek, and then he had like Greek talking dialect, so that was kind of interesting. So Here's telling me that the former medieval tone Sir Bubble might exclaim in mock Latin when addressing Sparkle to Draco amicus, dente splendid, song gloria ringit. So he just gave it a Latin language. And I don't think, do I have this here? Unknown birth. This is annoying. Strength flaw. Because normally I have my language somewhere here. Other language speak from early medieval English with dental terminology. And that's the other terminology it's talking about. So you see there's things which come back and to us very, very funny sometimes. As a baby, Sir Bubbles might have bubble in unusual. Yes. In unusual formal tone. So clean, shiny, like a baby. All right. So we have our story here. So we're going to keep on going. So I'll show you what that looked like when we do actually start chapter 1 and how to manipulate that. So this one is the main character. If this guy is the protagonist, she cannot be the main character, so she will be. The Pearly Monarch, wise ruler. So she is a supporting character right now. And we could do also all the way she's talking. So we can do that and try to go quick about it. So in public, she's a monarch. She's going to have between friends. And you can go fairly quickly between them. You should probably have some of her. And dialogue in other language. All right. Any question during this is going, and I'm going to go through all those and then get the first chapter going. It's very fast, so the one who's are very, very new, are you still able to follow? Are we doing all right? You guys are very, very quiet. All right, thank you, Yan. Okay, expert dental, that one is a sporting. Let's get a bit of language for this one too. Public. Speaking the language. So these are coming in fairly quickly with examples. And obviously, when you do have your own story, go and check, change it, fix it, say how you want it to talk. You can go as far as ask how we speak between chapters. So if one chapter, because normally a hero grow from a shy little person to some kind of event happen in his life, then he become stronger, then he become the hero, then he gets there's a big boom, somewhere, and then there's the end at the end where he start to go slower in his dialogue and all that. So you can even go from chapter 1 or by section or by plot. There's so much things you can do. It's like a lot of information. All right, let's keep on going here. I'm not going to go in the world building, but a lot of author can use also the world building and ask about how things are, like the era and things like that, also for their character, for this, how they speak and things like that. But I'm not going to go inside this today because it's going to be way, way too long for what I want to show you. And it's giving me all the setting for the story. A lot of setting. And then we have our prologue. So first, the prologue, the magical kingdom, pearly white, as crisis has emerged. The kingdom of dragons stopped flying due to severe toothache. The situation has become so dire that the Queen Meloria, wielding her little toothbrush scepter, called for a hero to address this dental emergency. Rather than seeking a traditional warrior with a sword, she needs someone skilled in dental hygiene. Sir Bubble the Bold, known for his particular peculiar habit of bathing in his armor, stepped forward to volunteer. The Queen assigned him with his first mission to help Sparkletooth, to the grumpy and most dental hygienist-resistant dragon in the kingdom, who hasn't flossed since the Fire Festival of 42. This chapter established the whimsical tone, da 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 da. So, do we start with this one or chapter one? Is venturing to go see in the layer of that. Let's see if I have a lot of conversation in chapter one. So we're going to start chapter one when the Sir Bubble go and venture into the lair of the dragon and going to try to clean that guy's teeth. So we go into the three dots and we create the first scene. Now most of us have the scene, so we're going to just generate the scene. I think this is generate. Don't have any other one. Engaging dialogue, that's not that. Sir Bubble, Dragon, Dentist, so that's the small story that we start with. We don't need that. Dragon Homework, that's the other story. The hash anthem, that's the other story. Okay. I was hoping to have another window open so I can actually. All right. So we have our first scene. So first scene, Sir Bubble stepped into Sparkletooth's lair, immediately slipping on a discarded molar that scattered across the rocky floor. His clumsy entrance marked by formal apology and dim clink of his soaked armor. Inside a dim cave scattered with jagged stone and stray remnant of past meal, the grumpy dragon Sparkletooth glared from behind a mound of old gritty scales as he grumbled. "I'll burn your eyebrows if you poke me," his voice echoing off the rough wall, while he shifted his weight, expressing both pain from his aching teeth and skepticism towards Sir Bubbles. An unconventional approach. Unperturbed by Sir Bubble straight up, his tone resolute as he explained his mission to ease the dragon suffering through careful dental care. All right, so we have the whole thing. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go without any extra instruction to show you the difference when we want to change the dialogue by adding the instruction. And I'm going to keep with Muse on this one. How come then ask me for my level of... Okay, so with Muse right now, it says we have between 8 to 1004 words. Looking good, the scene set as fun and engaging tone perfectly. So we have that, and in the style, don't forget, we put heavy dialogue-driven story for children. Our genre is well set also. So these are very important sometimes to, you don't even have to do anything else because sometimes it's just what you're looking for. So let's generate those prose. Any questions so far? Am I going too fast? Did I lose a lot of people on my way? No question? All right, thank you, Scott. So he's counting his word. Count. All right, so scene one. So the floor was littered with massive molar. So he's repeating what we saw in the first part. And he starts right there here with a dialogue. Stay out if you like your eyebrows night. Sparkle 2's glare from behind a mount of gritted scales. The glow from his nostril, casting red shadow around the dark, jagged interior. Most noble dragons, see Bubbles puff, managing to straighten despite a lingering wobble in his knee. I assure thee, I come in peace. Sparkle Tooth let out a grumble that rattled a pile of dragon teeth. Try poking me, and I'll show you some real rattling. Sir Bubble Boots squelched with moisture as he made another valiant attempt to step forward. The wit is as sharp as tin and scissor, O magnificent one, he declared, but I fear both may need attention. What's that supposed to mean? Sparkletooth snorted, the spark from his nostril briefly illuminating a worried expression before his eyes narrowing again. Sir Bubble brave another step, holding up a hand in knightly deference. Pardon my damp intrusion, he said, but it's I, Sir Bubble the Bold, who had heard thee plea and commit to cleanse thee, jumper, and banish thee pain. Okay, as a writer for children, I know this is very, very, very hard to read. It's hard for me to read because it's all the old language. So, right there, if we want to change that kind of language, we can go a couple of ways. We could go in the character here and go see how this guy is supposed to be talking. So, relationship dynamic, where's the language? Is language here? Okay. Is not with friends, so by the grace of the Queen Maria, I shall cleanse these things. So, sir, fear not, for no plague shall withstand my truthful. I don't see anything why it's talking in such. Maybe that's the part here. Okay, maybe this is what make him speak like that when he speak with the dragon. This part here, I don't want it for the children. It's too complicated. So I can go in my three dots and I can say, do not use that. It's too complicated for the children. That would be my first step. Second step, in my style box here, I say, it's driven story for children. I will also say, use easy words for easy read. So we add that, easy reading. So I'm going to copy this style here. I'm going to go in my write details because now I know there's a few things that need to be changed. And I'm going to fix that over here too. I'm going to go back into my scene one. Now we know how he speak, and I'm going to create another one to show you the difference. So I'm going to make a duplicate. Which has everything we need here. I'm going to go here, select all, I'm going to delete that. Now we have the same scene one, but I'm going to add extra instruction. I'm going to add this. And I also want to add something to show you how fast heavy dialogue driven. I want to start in a very, yeah, we mentioned the medieval, but it's also a children's story. If that was an adult story, I will leave it like that, Scott. But because it's a children's story, I don't want them to have too much problem to read with those big, heavy, hard words. And I want to also get that story to come and start very with a punch. So start and mid scene or mid-res. Some people put mid-res or mid-scene. I put mid-scene. And I'm going to ask to write all that with the extra information. We can also change something here. We can put it at the first person POV at present tense, which seems to be at the present tense anyway. Just add more to it here. Promise dragon token has two. So I'm adding a few things here in the extra instruction. You can put it at the third person, you can change the tense, you can change everything. The extra information here is going to help you a lot with your dialogue and how you want the scene to start. So we're still in Muse. We're going to start again and see what is going to start. Now it's going to look at my instruction. It's going to look at the scene. So it's analyzing, and now it's telling me, okay, the scene POV and tense need to be switched to first person present to match the extra instruction, quick fix. On the quick fix, I says, yep, please do that, quick fix. It's going to do the rewrite. It's going to rewrite this at the first person POV at present tense. It's going to make sure it start mid-res or mid-scene for faster. I probably could have start at mid-scene for faster integration, but it's rewriting. There we go. You can see it's a lot shorter, and then it's ready to work. So let's see what that's going to give us here. So do that during that time. So I step into Sparkle Tools layer and immediately slip on the discard molar that sent me skidding across the rocky floor. My voice echoing on a formal apology as my dim clinging armor remind everyone of my odd habit. I quickly regain my balance and see Sparkle 2 peering at me from behind a heap of rough old scales. His eyes narrow and he growls. You can see all those easy words that he actually switched from the first version to this one. Kind of a big change right there. Same amount of words that before. We're going to get it to generate and see how fast it's going to start and what the dialogue difference will be compared to the first one we did. We're already at 6:45. So far, are you learning something good? Am I on the right track to help you for future writing? And I have the three other one I'm going to show, but this one is a workflow that I'm showing you. The other one is already written. So perfect. Thank you, Jan. Thank you, Scott. I totally appreciate that. Thanks so much. All right. Let's see, 300, 600. There, 1004. It's going to go over 15, 16. There you go. All right. Okay. I step into Sparkle Tooth's lair and immediately slip on a scatter mauler that sent me skidding across the rocky floor. My voice echoing a formal apology is as my damp clinging armor remind everyone of my odd habit. I quickly regain my balance and I see Sparkle Tooth peering at me from behind a heap of rough old scales. His eyes narrow and he growls, "I'll burn your eyebrows if you poke me." I stand straight and explain it in clear, simple words that I am here to help his toothache with careful, kind dental care, even mentioning how I bathe in an armor with any shame. I promise him that his pain. Okay, so he's telling a lot of things here, and this I will switch that. I want this in dialogue. I don't want him to tell me what he's going to be doing. But we have a lot of words, so let's see what's going to happen. I find myself airborne as soon as I enter the cave. The discard dragon tooth is large enough for a human. Wait. I promised him Painful soon get a fourth of the dragon fruit as a token of a goodwill, and his half grudging, half mocking reply makes it clear that thought he is still skeptical, a small trust behind the building between us. I find myself airborne as soon as I enter the cave. The discard dragon tooth is large enough for a human to use as a sled, and it has the effect on me. The rocky floor send me skidding in a dazzling, bumpy ride until I what happened here? He's taking this part and he did basically repeat it with a small dialogue. And then here, basically that's where I would say the story start a lot better, because he stepped into and now he find himself airborne as soon as I enter the cave. So for me, I will just take off the start of it and start the story right here. You see what I mean? Okay. I don't know why this thing is there. Okay, that's annoying. So he's finding himself as human, a sleigh, the rocky floors and skidding, dazzling, bumpy ride onto island in a hip against the far wall. I catch my breath and call out, "My apology, noble dragon." Sparkletooth's laugh echoing back, along with a rumble of my least favorite nickname, Bubblebutt. I thought I must confess, I had springy to my feet. It is quite undignified for a dragon to scat his molar about. You had better not try to poke me, Sparkletooth warned. If you do, I'll burn your eyebrows. I am here to relieve your dental distress, I say, striding forward in my best knighty fashion, even through my wet armor. So we see this is what I'm saying. Mid-rail start here, and then it was an explanation of the scene on top. So that's what happened here. But you can see all the dialogue. We have a lot of dialogue, which is great for children on a book, even for adult. We love a lot of dialogue. So let's keep on going. Any questions so far? I mean, I don't think I can ask more for dialogue on this one. So I'm going to share this story with you. Put that inside this here. You can go and read it, and I will show you the first version with a lot less dialogue and very complicated language. So you can go and compare that one too. I will also put it inside the Word document, so later you'll be able to go and look at it. So this is for the kid story and how to play with dialogue. There's a few ways of going about it. It's already 6:51 and it's only one of the first story. So far, any question on what I show you here between the two different way of going by using the extra dialogue, the extra instruction, and go inside the style and fix the style? None? All right. So let's go with the other one that I had done already. The stillness between stroke. This one is for more adult version. So you can see I did that already, the bringing in. The genre of this one is contemporary literature fiction, character study, romance, art and creativity, personal growth, emotional healing, vulnerability, Then the style, sensual, introspective, character-driven, heavy dialogue-driven. And here what I did in this one, another way of working with your dialogue, I know that Sabine is visual language and metaphor. She liked to speak with visual language and metaphor, and I put it right here in the style that Sabine is like that. And then Mika is direct, unfiltered, often witty, but emotionally perspective. And Delia is blunt, dry humor, emotional, driven, reserved, but loyal. I put that in the style. I don't know if I did put my writing style already. I just leave it as excellent. So I could go in here and add this. I could add probably everything. I'm just going to add the first one over here in my style, in my key details. Now, we have the whole story about Sabine, who's a painter. She go into a tattoo shop and she's going to have a dialogue with Mika. And then the other character shows up a bit later. But right at the start, we're going to have Sabina and Mika talking in the tattoo parlor. You're going to have access to this. I will bring it to the document later, and you'll be able to read all that. The character here, I already did all the character before the class. So Sabine already have her way of talking in public, dialogue in friend. So there's a bit of difference. So it's important to maintain a certain standard in one work and between friends. So I feel like I'm trapped in my own expectation. In private, why can I just let go and paint what I feel? And to lover, you've taught me more about myself than I ever expected. So there's a few differences. Dialogue in these, when it's your story and it's much different than what you have here, don't forget you have the rewrite. So if the person is speaking differently than what you see here, go in the rewrite and you can tell that it's speaking in a different tone or even speaking in a different language. Anything you want, you can put it in the rewrite. But because we are short in time, I don't have enough time to show the rewrite, but you have an idea that you can just go and say rewrite. Now, with all the information I have about our character and the way they talk and things I put in my style box at the start, and my character is already done. So we have our protagonist. This is the sporting one and the love. And sometimes we can have two protagonists. So they basically be talking a lot together, which it should be the protagonist. And then the love interest is there. And we have also that, the tableau parlor, and the first impression in ink. All right. So what that give me? This is the first scene. Sabina step into the parlor, the tattoo parlor, and then she go forward to the counter and try to say what she wants about her, why she's there. What I did in this one, which is different from the children, to give you a different way of looking at dialogue. And on the top of the hour, let me know. And I think I already did say that in the start of the little earlier, that if someone has to leave at the top of the hour, it's recorded. So I will send everything on my YouTube channel. And yeah, and then Sudowrite also will have it very, very soon up. So if you know that you can find me inside Discord under Fire Art, you'll find the class there. And if you go into the document that I share with you, I will also put the link of the YouTube so you can go and listen to the story or the class and refresh on that. Now, this one has a much different way of going. I asked to write 15 lines of dialogue between Sabina and Mika. Use this format: character name, the emotion, body language, and the line dialogue. So that's a different way to work with dialogue right there. And they'll show the substacks intention, let their personality clash gently. Each line should move the emotional energy forward, including glance, posture, hesitation, and moment of stillness. This is what I put inside the instruction box. This is the result, and I ask in excellent. So she's coming in, the bell above the door does ring, and that's one thing we find out a lot of story when someone gets in a store, there's a bell over the door. There's something chiming. So Sabina stepped into the tattoo studio, her breath catching slightly in her throat. The threshold feels weighted as if she crossing not just into a business, but into someone else's artistic territory. She paused, one foot still anchored on the outside world, her finger finding the familiar comfort of her bag strap, adjusting it needlessly on her shoulder as her eyes adjust to the light. So she's looking around, is doing tattoo, there's the tattoo machine vibrating through the air, a meditation bell that never quiet fade. It's punctual by occasional murmur because he's talking to his client. There's smell of antiseptic in the air. She steps fully inside the door, closed behind her with a soft click. Things happening slowly. The front consultation area open before her, leather couch worn soft and on the edge, low table stacked with portfolio, a counter with sample register. And then she look at the imperfection of catalog themselves in her mind as she walks. And then the whole story happening. It's a slow burn starting, that one. And then at some point, there's someone talking. So Be with you in a minute, he said. So he called his voice deeper than she expected, with a roughness that matched the texture of his art. He returned his attention to his client, but something has shifted in his posture, a new awareness of being observed. So Sabina retreated to the front room, grateful for the moment to compose herself. She examined a flash sheet of available design pinned on a corkboard. So she's looking around. And then Mika owner whose work caught her attention in an article about, so the piece had described his approach to color theory. So she's reading that, how that color argue on the skin, finding an harmony and tension. So she's reading. And then footstep approach from the hallway, unhurried, but purposeful. She doesn't turn immediately, allowing herself one more moment of anonymity before the inevitable introduction. Looking for something specific, his voice come from closer than she expected. Sabine turned, maintain a composure, expression, da 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 da. So they start a bit of expression and talking a bit there. I will get that to you and you can read it on your own. On scene 2, is also doing a bit of dialogue. Now, the difference after that is this. This is the part where I said, give me the 15 line of dialogue with the information. So this is what the difference is after that. So Mika, steady and resting easily at his side. Most people who stand in this exact spot are either terrified or committing to ink, or they are artists themselves. Which one are you? So Sabine, surprised, chin lifting slightly. Is there a third option? Mika, curious head tilting as he studied her face. Always, but you got the look. You're seeing the line beneath the line, the structure that hold everything together. Sabine, guarded posture, stiffening. I was interested in your approach to color theory. I read about it in the Art Quarterly. Mika, please, a slow smile forming. The color arguing on the skin interview. The writer made that sound more dramatic than it is. Color don't argue, they have conversation. So this is a different way of seeing how you can manipulate dialogue. And also, if you can see here, you could also do, how do they call these things? The script for a movie and things like that. You could actually put it inside your information on top and says, I want the dialogue, how they shift, and write everything into a script also. And you could have a script dialogue written for you at the same time. So this is another way to manipulating how you want the story to be written, and then for you to have more freedom on how to go and fix the story. One version of that. Now, this is the slow burn version with those way of writing the dialogue with those little tag in bracket. Now, the mid scene first impression with the same information on top here, my 2 scene, but this part here is changing. So now I said, I don't want everything the same way that was before. I want mid-scene opening, diving straight into heavy, emotional, charged dialogue between Sabine and Mika. It captures your style, sensual, introspective, and character-driven. Now here's the result. Excellent first scene. So I stand at the threshold, 1 foot in and 1 foot out, as if the doorway itself is asking a question I'm not ready to answer. The steady hum of the tattoo machine filled the air, an unbroken whisper of transformation. My finger tightened around my strap of my bag as my eyes traced chaotic beauty of sketch covering the walls. The raw lines and uneven edge making my pulse quicken. With an emotion I can quiet name. Everything here defies the careful precision I've hidden behind for years. The studio is smaller than I expected, intimate in a way that feels almost confrontational. Sketch and flash design crowd the walls in a beautiful disorder. Some in stark black ink, that bleeds into the paper edge, other in wounded red and torn cloud violet that seem to vibrate with barely contained energy. Nothing is perfectly aligned. Nothing is safely contained. Each piece bleeds into the next in a choreography of deliberate chaos. She continued there. Then they start inside the dialogue. I'll be with you in a minute. The voice comes from behind a half wall that separate the waiting room area from the workstation. It's deeper than I expected, with a quiet confidence that doesn't need volume to command attention. I don't respond. Instead, I move toward the nearest wall of sketches, studying a drawing of flowering vines. You can see the difference between the two of the one I got to generate, and then it's going to get in more dialogue. So study he doesn't smile presently. Instead, he crosses his arm and lead against the doorframe. Permanent mistakes, he says, the word leading between us like a challenge. Excuse me? My voice come out more brittle than I intended. He nodded toward the sketch I was examining. That's what tattoos are, permanent mistakes that we learn to love. Something tightened in my chest. That's an unusual sales pitch for someone who makes their living putting permanent art on people's bodies. A small smile finally breaks across his face, but it doesn't soften him. I never said mistakes were bad, just permanent. He pushed off from the door frame and come closer, stopping near enough that I can see the fine line around his eyes. Evidence of years of focused work. Your Sabina Delia friends. The mention of Delia name loosened something in me. Of course, he knew I'm coming. This isn't a random encounter. It's an arranged meeting. Yet, his casual mention of my friend makes me feel exposed, as if he'd been told things about me I haven't agreed to share. Yes, I say simply. She mentioned your stock. His directness is unsettling, like having someone put back a curtain you were hiding behind. I'm not stuck. I pause, searching for the right words on that won't reveal too much. I'm recalibrating. He makes a sound that's almost a laugh, but too soft, too knowing. Is that what we're calling it these days? It rise in my face. I didn't come here to be mocked. I should go. I turned towards the door, but his voice stopped me. You're a painter. Oil, mostly. Some watercolor experiments that you never show anyone. You haven't finished a piece. You haven't finished a piece in what, a year? Maybe longer? I turned back slowly, my heart thumping uncomfortably. What else did Dahlia tell you? So we have a pretty interesting story, and I was going to keep reading. What do you think? Which one do you think it's better between the two, the low burn or the mid-res with heavy dialogue, which kind of back and forth? I kind of like the way this story is going. Obviously, when you have a story like that, you go and work it out. But so far, what do you think? Yeah, the second one? Great. So we're already at past the hour. I really like to know if you have question, anything in particular, or something you want to test. Let's see if I go back into my original one to make sure if I got, because I got the children one, I had the middle school one, I have the young adult one, and the adult, that's the one we just work on. And these, we have access to all of them also. I don't think I had enough time to did the ashes of Aten. I didn't, oh, I did, no. I don't think I did this one. Yeah, I did the first, no, the outline is not even started, so this one wasn't added that way. So I did the one there, so we have 3 story. I'll probably go and finish the one I started and then put that inside the information I have for you. So just for the one who are leaving, so thank you so much for being with me on learning quick way of going with about dialogue. It's kind of a fast class and it's for people who are starting mostly. So hopefully you learn something on how to manipulate dialogue inside your Sudowrite. Obviously, go see the information that I dig up for you. That's very interesting to see those this author out there which is using this Sudowrite and the ChatGPT to write their books, and for quite a few years. I was very I was impressed by that and surprised at the same time. So any question before I finish this class? You can unmute and we can have a chat here. Or do you want, I can also stop the recording and then we can chat together for a couple of minutes.
Yeah, I got a question.
Go ahead.
If you're putting all your dialogue stuff in the style box, because the style box is limited in the amount that it can take,
Okay.
characters, text-wise,
Mm-hmm.
do you put any, the normal stuff that you put in the style box, do you put that somewhere else?
You can put it pretty much at many place. You can put your which one has my style box here? The adult. This one's supposed to have it. Oh, I'm in my notes. That's why I cannot find it. So the stillness of the stroke. So in the style box here, you have up to 40 words.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to add more, if you're over 40 words, one trick that works for us is basically look at the number in the bottom here. See the 27? 6, 5.
Oh, you're doing that trick.
Yeah, you can do that tricks. And the AI still understand what's going on. So this way you can add more words. John Cresson at some point was also using Japanese or Chinese writing because you can write a lot more with that. Then you don't stuck in the style because I show you also how to work your style inside your character. So
Yeah.
the dialogue, you can do the style of the walking, how they stand. You can use your character box and add anything you want in your customized box. That saves you a lot of space in your style box. And now with the fact that we have this part here, the extra instruction, it's amazing how much information. I think we put over 2,000 words in there. So everything about your style writing per chapter, if you want, or per scene can be written right here.
Right.
So you're not limited to your style box. Does that help?
Yeah, yeah. I hadn't thought of it that way before, I suppose.
Yeah, with that new extra instruction that we have, it's working very nice. Don't get me wrong, we did do that anyway before. Before we didn't have the scene, we had the beats. And on top of the beats, we were using the bracket and put all our information on top. So the extra instruction here was going on top between bracket. And that's why now they use the extra instruction because now we need a very good separation between the two. So it's a lot easier to work. And this box is amazing to work with. The stuff we can do with this, it's mind-blowing. A lot.
Are you finding it better to do it like this way at the front end, so to speak, as opposed to generating this narrative or the storyline and then going in as an editor, so to speak, and using a plugin to generate dialogue
Okay.
in the second instance?
My workflow is to start with my style to start with.
Yeah.
In my class, I always love to work my first chapter. And I can work my first chapter 10 times until I'm happy with it. And after my first chapter is done, I know exactly how I want my dialogue to go. I know my character. I know how the story is going to go because you also have your outline. But from the first chapter, that changed my genre and that changed my style box.
Right.
And this is my basic to go with. And after that, obviously between your chapter are not always the same. It's like the start is the introduction, then this chapter 2 is they meet, the character meets and something happen. So the style change at that point, and even the genre can change at that point. So you are the writer and you're always in charge of it. So if the things change at some point, says, okay, this is a contemporary fiction character, da 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 da, and in the middle of your story, there's a war. Well, there's no war here.
Mm.
You have to go and change your genre. It says this is a fiction, blah blah blah, but now there is a war, so you have to add and remove what is no longer necessary and put this is wartime. Then your style box here, it's no longer a central introspective. It's still character driven, but now this part is changing. The dialogue heavy. You may also put down it heavy when they are talking in some area of the war, but when they are in some place, they have to work with movement of the hands to talk between each other. So there's a lot of information that you can change from one chapter to the next or scene by scene, which you keep it like this and just make sure that you have says, you can even go chapter 1, it's a fiction. Chapter 2, it's a war. Chapter 3, it's something else. You can put that down here as long as you have enough space for your words to get in. Or, like I said, you go from here, you read everything in here, says, okay, this is no longer exactly what it is. They are in a wartime. So you put in the extra says, do not look at the style box. Look at this here instead. This is wartime. They do not talk the same way. Tell the AI this is what happening and that you want says there's no dialogue, it's just a monologue, or it's a person is talking inside themselves and we just see what is thinking. Things like that. Does that help? I'm going to say thank you for you guys to be and stay with me. I'm going to stay a little bit longer and I will show you a little bit if you want to look at it. So thank you so much. My name is Manon Doucet and I really appreciate having you with me today. Thank you.
I stood there just a boy in the light, heart racing like a train in the night. The crowd was quiet, feeling my pain, singing words that washed over like rain. Oh, the echoes of the stage call me back to the magic where I found what I lacked. A voice that soars and a heart that sings, where every moment feels like golden wings. Where dreams first took flight, the shadows danced with hope burning bright. Each note I played brought a smile or tear. We're all connected when we draw them near. Oh, the echoes of the stage call me back to the magic where I found what I lacked. A voice that soars and a heart that sings, where every moment feels like golden wings. So let me take you to that first embrace, when every note could wrap us in grace. Together we'll chase the ghosts of our dreams in the silence between the loudest